Hello ladies and gentle ladies, welcome back to another stream. Hello Basti, welcome to the stream. And yeah, I think basically we're just going to get started today. So we're going to be working on the Rotary Kiln again today, hopefully finishing that off today, but I usually say that and it doesn't happen, so let's not get our hopes up. But we're going to try our best to get it done today. I suspect there's going to be a lot of rendering. We're probably also going to have a lot of bugs to fix with the actual logic itself, but we'll get to that when time comes. So yeah, let's just go straight into it, I guess. So yeah, Rotary Kiln. So I have done a bit since the last stream, so I've kind of set up some recipe stuff, and I've also done a bit of code in the block entity itself, mostly just with like yeah, just like setting things up, nothing really exciting. I've done some MBT stuff here, and then I've also started to write some stuff for when you remove a segment, but we'll get to that kind of later on. And I've also just created a very simple recipe class as well, so it just takes in an input, it has an output, and then it'll also have a required temperature as well, which will be handled by obviously the burner. And that's basically it in terms of like what I've done, but there isn't really anything else to actually do, or at least in terms of like simple things. There's obviously a lot to do in terms of not simple, but one thing I do need to do, which I forgot to do, is just create a recipe builder for that recipe. I haven't done that, so we can do that very easily, luckily. So I'll just plonk, I don't know, crystallizer or something on my other monitor, and basically all it needs to be is to have a input, to have a output item stack output, and then also needs to have a int, which is the required temperature, and that's basically it. So that's going to have a constructor, and then we're just going to have an offer to, like that. That's literally going to be that entire class, which seems kind of useless to be honest, but I think it's fine. And I do just need to add a quick method in here to be able to do that. So hopefully, no. Kind of hoping Copilot would be able to do that for me, but it probably doesn't know. Yeah, see, the thing is this doesn't exist, but there is this. Yeah, there you go. What does this actually do? That just gets the item path. Okay. That's fine. So nothing too exciting there. But that's basically all it needs to be. Hello Wide, welcome to the stream. No cached match getter? I don't know what that is. I do not know what. Well, what is a cached match getter? Is that like a... This is optimized for getting matches of the same recipe repeatedly, such as furnaces. I see. I have never used this before, or ever seen this before. Interesting. I probably should use this, I guess. The furnace uses, well, yeah, but I don't look at the furnace code because the furnace is horrendously coded. so I don't look at that kind of thing. But interesting to know that this does exist. Now, how do I actually use it though? Like, is it just a constant? I guess I should look at the furnace. Look at how the furnace used. Sure, we can do that. Furnace block entity. Okay, it's going to be an abstract furnace block entity, of course. This, I guess. Also, recipes used. Oh, that's for yeah, that's for other things. I see. And then how does it use that? It just calls get first mate. Interesting. And that just caches it? Huh. Okay. That could be worth using at some point. I'm gonna add a to-do actually in the main class because that will involve rewriting like all of my machines to use that. Where was it? I've already forgotten. It was in what, server recipe manager, I think. Use server recipe manager. Great cat. Okay. Sure. I will consider using that in the future. I remember. Okay. So. Oh, I see. Yeah, that makes sense. Can it not just be a constant, though? Surely it can just be a constant. But anyways, okay, so the next step. My hair is terrible today, by the way, so don't question it. It's really bad. But here we are. Oh, it saves the last cached recipe? I see. So it's not like a... Okay. Okay, so it's not really a cache then. But sure. Or it's a cache of a size of 1. Sure. Okay. I see. That's kind of... I guess that does make sense for like the furnace, right? But... Sure. Yeah, so I think the next thing to do, I think is just the tick logic, to be honest. So, in terms of how to actually do this, well, this does need to exist, yes. And then we said that we had to have a certain number of segments for it to actually do anything, right? So, we can say if this dot... We can actually change this completely. So we can say if this.kiln segments dot size is less than, what did we say? I think we said 8. If it's less than 8, then we're just gonna return, basically. Yeah, so speaking of, this should also be size is greater than 8. Or we can do greater than or equal to 8, yeah, because it's less than 8 here. Okay. So then what we need to do is we need to actually go through the recipe. So I think the way I've kind of decided on doing this is I'm just going to have a list of these input recipe entries. And what I'm calling these out, they're basically just a registry key of a recipe and an item stack. Because obviously the input could be an ingredient, so we need to know what specific item stack was input. And that's just so that, like, that's so that if we remove it, for example, we can go ahead and actually just spawn the exact item stack that was input, rather than, you know, not. So that's the reason I've used a record here instead of just a registry key recipe, which I think will work. Doing that, it should be fine. It just means that now, for example, we'll have to do this.recipes.for, and we basically then have to, like, I don't really know how to do this with temperatures, because the thing is, if we have a recipe, right, and we have a registry key here, so we actually just grab the actual recipe. So we'll do get recipe .var recipe entry. If it's empty, then it continues, and then it gets there, which is that. And I think we just need to, oh, that actually gets the entry, so then we just need to do .value, and I guess we need to cast that. I don't really like casting that, but it'll be fine. So if that's null, we just continue. And then basically what we're gonna have to do is process each of these recipes. And the progress is going to be kind of weird to work out. So the progress is going to be the index. So I should actually convert this to a for I loop. Does it? IntelliJ can't do that. I'm surprised. For each loop with here you go, text. Ew, why would you do that? That's yucky. Hello Gogo, welcome to the stream. So this here will be the index, right? Now I should just say, actually, if index is null, we're just going to return or continue, because then we don't care about that specific one. And then effectively what we want to do is just shift them all along by one. This is going to be kind of complicated. I think we actually need to start at size -1 and then go index is greater than or equal to 0. Oh, it can reverse a for loop for me? That would be handy. And actually, I think a better way would probably just be to make this ++ in or negative index, right? But reverse direction. Sure, that works. Okay. So that means it will start from the end. So then we'll go basically with the final one, right? So if the index is equal to that final index, so how do we want to do this actually? I think I want to have also, and this is going to be kind of weird, but I think I want to have how do I want to do this? Because I feel like there needs to be some kind of progress for each recipe. Because otherwise it's just going to, like, it's only going to take like 16 ticks to do the entire processing, which isn't ideal. and it shouldn't really be consistent throughout them, because then, well, that's not going to work either, because then you could like put in an item when it's already towards the end of its process time, and it would just instantly process it by 1, which isn't ideal. So what I probably do is make this not a record, and then just have a private int progress. Or thing is, the progress needs to be like per stage, right? Like what I'm thinking is I basically have like I don't really know how to visualize it, but actually I do. 1 second. Let me get okay. I'm gonna visualize it for you. So this is basically the machine, right? But I think what it should be is each of these sections should have a progress between some value and some value. So we can say, for example, that like this one is at like 75 or something. This one could be at like 25. You know, this one could be at like 46. I don't know, etc. Right? So then, when this one, right, or we'll just say actually when this one reaches 100, right? So we'll say if this one's at 100, that's when it will then move itself over to here, and it will change to 0. I think that's probably the best way to do this, right? Yeah, that's fine. So what I'm thinking is probably not using a list, but using like a custom implementation of a list, because each index needs to be able to store like additional data, and that data would be specific to that index unless the element at that index changes, in which case the data would then change. So it's probably worth having some kind of custom implementation of a list. What is going on down here? Excuse me? Oh, because it's added like toString and hash code and stuff. I see. Okay, sure. So no, there's no pairs, but a pair also wouldn't really help, because pairs are not mutable and it would need to be mutable. I mean, I can just like store it in this entry, to be honest. I mean, sure, I guess that would be fine to store in the entry. Okay. It just means that, so first of all, I need to just modify these to do the things. And then what we're going to want is we're going to want a public void increment progress. And then we're also going to want, well, more importantly, yeah, we're going to want a get progress. And then we're also going to want a public void reset progress. So that means that we can keep our list like this. And then in here, if recipe.get progress is greater than or equal to kiln recipe.get progress. See, the recipe doesn't actually like have a progress time. I think I'm just going to leave the progress time to be 100 for all of them. I think that's fine, at least for now. Maybe in the future that can change. So we need to check, more importantly, if it's the last one, right? If it's the last one, then it needs to go ahead and just output the item stack to wherever it's at. I'm going to do private void output item stack. Okay. So I can actually just take in the specific recipe. And I can get rid of that. Okay. This should never really be a thing, to be honest. Let's actually do this though. This dot world, I think. It might actually just be this dot world. No, there is a random. Okay. So then, this is really never going to be the case, and even if it is, it's not really a problem. So I'm just going to ignore that. What we actually want, kind of more importantly, is to try and grab the a storage, right? If there's a storage at the end, right? So if we come back to this, if there is, for example, a chest here, you can't see that, right? If there's a chest here, then we want it to go into the chest. If there's not a chest, then we just want to spawn it as an item stack. So the first check is just to see if there's some kind of item storage there. So we can grab the direction. Facing is equal that. Now, do we need the opposite direction? I don't think so. I believe we do not. I can actually look at not this, not this. Facing, positive offset facing. Yeah, so we don't need to get the opposite. That's fine. Okay, so that'll get the facing. Then what we want to do is we want to get the output pause, and the way we're going to do that is actually by passing in a block pause end pause, and then output pause is going to be that. And then what we need to do is we need to get the storage. So we're going to say a storage of item variant item storage is equal item storage dot sided dot find this dot this dot world output pause and facing. Now, if item storage, we'll actually rename this. We'll say try output to storage. And we'll return a boolean, and that way we can actually just have it kind of handled. So if it's null or item storage does not support insertion, then we're just going to return false. Then we're going to do a try, and we're going to try and create a transaction. And then we're just going to try and insert into that storage. So long inserted, we'll try and insert transaction. If inserted is equals 0, then it aborts and returns false. Else it commits and returns true. Okay, we don't need a catch. There's no exceptions that are going to be thrown here. And we also don't need to abort. Obviously, Copilot wouldn't know that. That's fine. Yeah, so that's fine. Yeah, so that will just try and insert that. If it can't insert it, then it's just going to return false. Else it's just going to commit the transaction, return true. And it won't ever get to here, right? So there's no... Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Good. Interesting. Apparently that's a thing. But that shouldn't be a problem anyway. Okay. So... I really should just do an if check here, but it also doesn't really matter because the world isn't going to change there. So I think it's fine. So if recipe.getProgress, we're just going to say for now greater than or equal to 100. Right? So to do replace with a field in the recipe. Okay. Then what we're just going to do is we're going to say endpos is kiln_segments.getIndex. Kind of. It's actually going to be index +1. Because if you think about it, right, so it's actually as there is actually an additional segment like here, which is like the back wall of it. So this is actually, oh no, because this is actually the controller. This is segment 0. 1, 2, yeah, actually, yeah, so actually the Kiln segment should match the recipe. So actually I need to go ahead and change that everywhere where I've used that, because yeah, that's actually not correct. So like these just need to go, this just needs to be that, and in here that's just going to be if index is greater than this.kiln segments. Which actually, does it need to be greater than or equal to? I think so. If it's greater than or equal, kiln segments side. Or I could just do -1. That's probably better. Okay. This is fine. Yeah. Good evening, Romeo. Welcome to the stream. Okay, so what's it done here? Let's just see what Copilot's done real quick. So if try output to storage, okay, no. So this is wrong way around. So that needs to be if it can't output the recipe to the storage, then we're going to spawn an item stack. Now we actually don't want to store, we don't want to spawn it at that position. We want to spawn it at the offsetted position. So block pos spawn pos is going to be that. And then we can just do spawn pods.get x, spawn pods.get y, spawn pods.get z. And then the output isn't going to be the input stack. I don't know why the hell it's trying to do that. It needs to be the output stack. Now, as a matter of fact, let's actually pass that into here as well. So actually, instead of passing in the recipe, because that's only used to create this item stack, so I'm actually just going to straight up pass in the output stack like that, and then get rid of that. Okay. So what that means is that we can now just do this, and we can say recipe dot recipe is not, no, recipe is that, no, recipe kiln recipe, that's it. So we'll say kiln recipe dot output create stack. Then we'll pass that into there. So that will then try and output that stack, which means that now when we go ahead and spawn the item stack, we're actually spawning the output stack. And then it sets the recipe to null, and don't do that. What the hell? This is why you can't trust Copilot. Okay. Yeah, so that just sets that. So in actuality, now that I think about it, oh no, that's fine. We are still going to need to reset. Sure. Okay. So let's go back to here. Now this needs to also be if it's the end, right? So if this is the end position, right? So if it's the last segment, so the way we can do that, or the best way to do that, is just to probably say if index is equal to sure, yeah, this.recipes.size -1. Then we're just going to do that, and then we will I mean, there's no point resetting the progress, to be honest, because this is actually getting set to null in this case. So there's no point doing that. So we're better off just continuing, which will continue, hopefully, this loop. Yeah, that's fine. Okay. So else, we're just going to move it along, right? So we're going to see if the next one is available to be moved. So we're going to check to see if the recipe, or if the recipe to the right is null or not. If it is, move this one over and reset progress. So is this correct? I think this is actually correct. So if the recipe's at the next index is equal null, and we set the recipe at the next index to that recipe, we set the recipe at the current index to null, and then we reset the progress. That's fine. That's actually all it needs to do. I will do this. Not that it makes a difference, of course, but that's fine. And I think that's actually it. Like, I think that's the entire tick logic. What we do need to do is we need to sync it to the client as well. So let's do this. And then we need to do block entity create this. And we need to do initial chunk thing. that, and then we just do write MBT, right? Return MBT. And then is there another method as well? Is there another method? There might not be. Could just be that. I know in Forge there was another method, but I honestly can't remember if Fabric had another one you had to do or not. So I will just check. In fact, I already have the crystallizer open. Never mind, I don't have the crystallizer open. Crystallizer, here we go. Okay, it is just those. I thought it was just those, but I wasn't completely certain. Oh, you know what I have forgot to do, actually? I need to just do an update. So basically, here, we're gonna update. And here we're gonna update. And here we're gonna update. Okay, so that'll just loop over, blah, 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 blah. That should be fine. Now, the only thing is, if we have an item in the input, we need to go ahead and actually convert it to go into this recipe loop, because otherwise it's just never going to enter the loop. So, what does that do? No, we don't actually want that. We just want to make that just generally not possible anyways. So, we'll come back to that. But now we want to get the item stack in the input. So let's get item stack, input stack, and that will just be get inventory dot get stack 0. Okay, if item stack is empty, then we're not gonna return though. We'll create a method, private void handle input stack. And then what we'll do is we'll just go ahead and call that method there. And then that means that we can have that return statement in here. Okay, then we're going to get the matching recipe. If there's no match, then we're going to continue. We'll get the recipe. The recipe is somehow null, which I don't know if that's even possible. And then we just want to see what the recipe at the first index is. So index 0. So we're going to say input recipe entry. And that's going to be get first, not get 0. So if that's null, then we're going to add it. What does this do? So recipes.add. We're going to add a new input recipe entry. We're going to add that to be recipe entry dot it dot key. I don't think it's, yeah, it's ID. There you go. We're going to remove the stack. We're going to update. Okay. So if it's not null, so if there's already something in the slot, this is trying to merge them. We don't actually want to do that. If there's something in that first index already, then we simply don't care. We're just not going to do anything. Okay. Get stack may produce null pointer. It won't, because of that. But if we do that, that should get rid of that warning. Okay. Inventory.remove stack. Let's just do a quick thing here. And that's to just replace these. Okay. Yeah, that's fine. Well, kind of fine. Except the amount is wrong. So the amount should actually be recipe dot input dot stack data dot count. and then that should be fine. Okay. Are we done? We may be done. Okay, no, we're not quite done. We're almost done. So what we need to do, we have a few things that we need to do, actually. We need to create the inventory provider. So we'll do a public inventory storage. We can say get inventory provider. We'll take in a direction, and then we're just going to return this wrapped inventory storage dot, not that, get storage direction. Okay, and we're going to want the same for heat as well, so we're just going to say a heat storage. And then the other thing we're going to want is get ports, and we're going to need to fill that out in a second as well. But beforehand, I'll just add these real quick to the main class. So, God, I really need to kind of split up this class at some point, but I just haven't got around to it yet. So item storage.sided.register for block entity. And we're going to do Rotary Kiln controller, get inventory provider, block entity type init dot. If you have a gradients method, you can put a label and break out of it like a return from a void method. Oh, you can? I didn't know you could do that. But that's kind of stupid. I hate that. Yeah, I hate that, actually. I would not do that. Heat storage.side, oh god. Heat storage.side.register for block entity. And hopefully... yeah, close enough. Now, this isn't actually going to do anything, though, because... yeah, I actually don't want those, funnily enough. Because we're only going to handle this via port. Let me copy the crystallizer real quick. Okay, so we want this. Okay, then we want to see if the offset from primary.x is equal 0. We can actually do, what is it? Is center column or something? So multi-blockable.is center column. And offset from primary.get y is equal, was it 4? Because it's 5 by 5, is that correct? Now, in terms of heat storage, the controller isn't actually going to have a heat. I don't really know how we're going to do the heat. That's going to be kind of like controlled by the burner, wherever that is, but that's going to be at the end, really. So that's going to somehow have to connect to the controller. Don't really know how to do that yet. We'll probably come back to that. For now, we're not going to have a heat storage, because it simply just doesn't matter. And we can just do to.io port map, and we're going to pass in transfer type. Why is this complete? That's fine. Okay. But this is a big class. 480 lines. Oh, actually, that's crazy. That's the exact same number of lines as the crystallizer. It's the exact same number of lines. Look at this. 480. 480. That's impressive that those have managed to be the exact same size. And we're obviously not done with this yet, so this is actually going to be bigger, but right now being the same size is kind of crazy. And actually most of it is just MBT. Like MBT is a lot of line. Like this is 254 lines of just MBT, I believe. Wait, no, that isn't right. I think I counted them wrong. I think I looked at the wrong thing. There's only 87 lines? 341 to 254. Yeah, it is 87 lines. Actually not that long. I feel like that was longer. I suppose a lot of it's also this find positions method as well, which I'm not confident is even going to work, but here we are. And then I guess tick is actually quite long, isn't it? And you've got to take into account all these imports, like holy moly. Almost 50 lines of imports. Anyways, I think that's going to be it. Now what we are going to want to do is probably just set up rendering straight away, like as soon as possible, because otherwise it's going to be very hard to see what is where. Yeah, I think that's going to be the best way to do it. And I don't think the actually, let me check. I just want to make sure the non-controllers don't have a renderer. They just need to be invisible, really. So if we go like this one. Yeah, so this thinks it has a renderer, but this doesn't have a renderer. This is actually going to be render type block render type dot invisible. It's not going to have any kind of rendering there. Okay. So let's come into the client real quick, and we're going to go into block entity renderer. Block entity renderer factories dot register block entity type init dot rotary kiln controller, and this is going to be the rotary kiln block entity renderer. We're also going to do the dynamic item renderer, so we're going to do built-in item register rendering, blah blah blah, block init dot rotary kiln controller, Industria dynamic item renderer dot instance, and we are actually going to have to add that in here as well. So we'll do block init dot rotary kiln controller, and we're going to have to create that up here. And we are going to experience a problem very shortly, if not now, where a map will not be able to take in the number of arguments we have. Do we have that problem yet? No, right now we're fine. Map does have quite a few methods, but I think we're actually at the limit now. So we're on 10 right now. How many does map have? Map is actually 10 is actually the limit. So the next time I add a block entity, we're going to have a little bit of a problem here. We're going to have to make a new method for that, probably, which is going to be a pain in the butt. But we'll get to that when time comes. Okay, so let's create this renderer. Okay, and we're going to extend Industria block entity renderer of a rotary kiln block entity. Like that. And then we're just going to do the usual. So we're getting to implement on render. And we're going to add the constructor as well. And then we want to create the model, of course. So we'll go with a private final rotary kiln model. We need to fix the model first, don't we? We very much do, yes. Okay. So we're going to set the package name. There we go. Going to make this a model of not entity. Now, yeah, we're going to want a super. We'll do this real quick. So render layer, get that out, and root. It might actually be the other way around. It is. Now, what I want to do in here is I want to have like a map. So that I can properly kind of reference things. Let me just clean this up real quick, and then we'll kind of figure that out, because it's going to be quite a bit of work to get that how it should be. So delete all of the stuff in here, of which there is a lot. It feels kind of silly having a lot of these segments, because a lot of them are, well, most of them are just exactly the same. But I think it makes more sense to do it like this. And I don't think there's any downside to doing it like this. So I think it's probably fine. So what I'm going to do basically is I'm going to say a public void render, or we'll say public. Let's do public model part get segment, and we're going to say int index. And is that a thing? No. Maybe if I actually use the root, and then yeah, so if I actually use the root, I can do that. Got children. So that's actually fine then, right? That shouldn't really be a problem. And I also really want to get the rotating segment as well, so rotate seg, and we'll use that later on. I do want to just actually make this a render segment of int index, and then we want to pass in the things that it needs to take in, which are, what does it need? We can see here. So matrices, vertex consumers, light, and overlay. So we'll go matrix stack, matrices, vertex consumer provider. Wait, no, it just needs a vertex consumer. So vertex consumer, int light, int overlay. And then we're just gonna do dot render, and we're just gonna pass all of those in. Okay. You can use map.ofEntries or util.make. Yeah, of entries is kind of a pain. Util.make, I don't remember what that is. Oh, like that. Yeah, util.make is probably the way I will go. Either that, or I could probably just do it in the constructor, to be honest. Like, that would actually probably be a lot easier if I just did it in the constructor. So I'll probably do that. I don't know. It'll be something along those lines anyways. But I'm not going to worry about that until I need to. Now, I would really like to actually get rid of these variables. I would really like to do that. So can I actually just, like, do that? I think you can, right? I don't see why not. Okay. Then we're going to need to do the... Well, we're going to need to do a few things. So we're going to need to do the texture. So we'll go a identifier, texture, location is equal industria.id, textures /block /rotary kiln. And then we're also going to want a entity model layer location is equal, hopefully, Copilot doesn't know. There you go. Okay, so we're going to need to register the model layer first. So let's go into, once again, here, and then we'll go into, yeah. And then we'll do entity model layer registry.register model layer, and we're going to do Rotary Kiln model.layer location get texture. Okay. Why is this complaining? Yeah, this is not correct. This should be the Rotary Kiln controller. Why it's being. And this is the model. And we're just going to set the model in here. Okay, and this will just be this dot model dot render segment. So we're going to need to do, well, first of all, we're going to render the 0 segment. We're going to do that either way. It doesn't matter. We're going to need to do get buffer. How do you do this again? I don't remember. I think it's actually this dot model dot get layer, and then that takes in the texture location. So Rotary Kiln model dot texture location. Yeah, and then you do that on vertex consumers dot get buffer. Okay, and I am going to make this a variable because we're going to need that for the other ones as well. So we're also going to do entity dot get segment dot for I. We'll leave it like that for a second because we're going to need to create this method. Create it in here. And we're just going to do a list. Yeah, that. Okay. So that'll be get kiln segments, and we're going to do for I index. And then we're going to do this dot model dot render segment and index +1. Hopefully that should work without having to offset it because it's offset in the model. That's my hope. We will see. I'm hoping it will be fine. Okay, let's try this first and we'll go from there, because I think this possibly won't work on its own anyways. So yeah, if so, that will be a pain in the butt. What I will do actually before moving on is I will just go into the non-controller block, so this one, and I need to do the delete stuff. So when it's removed, or remove void break. Yeah, so on break. No, it's not on break, it's on state replaced, right? So on state replaced. So state.getBlock is not equal to, yeah, so this actually just needs to be not is of new state. Stop it. Okay, so if it's not the same state, we're gonna get the controller by doing pos.getOffset. No. What has this done? If it's a controller, then we get the controller, we remove a Kiln segment. If it's of this, then it sets the state at the controller. What? No, it doesn't need to do that, right? Because no, it doesn't need to do that. Actual controller pos is equal controller pos to offset horizontal facing controller state.get segment index. That's one. And then it gets the block entity. If it's instance of a controller, then it removes the segment. Okay, perfect. That's fine then. What I should probably just do is extract this part, because this part's exactly the same. So if I just put this here and then say this, that would just help a little bit to make that reasonable. In fact, I could even do I could even just use the controller pos, couldn't I? I think so. I think I can actually just set if I do controller pos is equal actual controller pos, and then I can inline that like that, and then I can just grab the block entity and I don't need to do anything here. So I can just remove this. I think so. The only thing is I need to kind of like do an else statement where control, yeah, this isn't going to help me really. I need it to just be like this. Not like this, like this. Yeah, that would be fine. I mean, I could make this a block pos and then, but that's fine. Yeah, that's fine. Okay, so that should, in theory, remove the Kiln segment, which will just grab the index. If it's not -1, it removes it. It gets the recipe there. If we're server side, then it will go ahead and spawn the item stack. And then it will set the recipe at that index to null. Okay. I think that will work. It might not be perfect. There might be circumstances where it doesn't work, but I think for now it will work. So let's go ahead and run it. and we'll see what it does. I expect there to be funky stuff happening. I'm gonna be honest, if it doesn't work, I actually don't know what's not gonna... Oh. Invalid block entity. Okay. So let's see, what's it saying here? Valid block entity, rotary kiln. Rotary kiln. Block entity got rotary kiln controller. Rotary kiln. That refers to a rotary kiln, which is a rotary kiln block. Aha. I see you, little bugger. That's why. Definitely not meant to happen. I'm be honest, I don't know why it errored straight away. Oh, probably because of the renderer. It probably is the renderer, yeah. Let's see. I'm gonna cross my fingers and maybe it will work. Nope. Same error. Really? That's interesting. Rotary kiln block entity. Oh, you see what I've done here? I've done a rotary kiln block entity and then I've passed in a controller. Yeah, this is meant to be a rotary kiln controller block entity. And just make sure, yeah, that's fine. Okay, that's fine. No problem. Okay, we'll try again. It might hopefully maybe work this time. Oh, what was that? What the hell happened there? That was goofy. Okay. So. Oh, I probably didn't register the, yeah, so right now there's an item for both the controller and the non-controller. Obviously, that's not how it's gonna be, but for now that's how it is. So, we'll stick with it for now. I'm gonna make sure I'm facing north because, to be honest, I don't trust the rotation stuff. Yeah. Interesting. What if I do this? Interesting. So that is 5 by 5, right? So 5 by 5 is 25, which should be 24. Let's just check that it's set to looking for 24. I don't know why it wouldn't be, but like maybe it's not for whatever reason. Let's go block entity here and in here. Not this. This, not this. Is it this? So width range is 2, height range is 4, depth range is 0. Could be 5 by 5 by 1. Invalid positions is empty, then it just returns positions. So it's obviously returning the positions, but what it's not doing is it's failing after this point, I believe, because, or is it? It might not be. We can check. Actually, we can check. Okay. So positions, invalid position. Blah 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 blah. What is the facing? The facing is north. Okay. So right is east. That's correct. And then forward would be north. Yeah. So W is going to be -2 and W is going to be less than or equal to 2. Height is going to be 0 and height is going to be less than or equal to 4. And then depth is going to be 0. So we're going to get the pos. And then we're going to get the state. So I'm not sure exactly what the state is going to return here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to step into is replaceable. So that's air. So that's going to be perfectly fine. So then I'll do position to add. Then it's going to go up in height. And now the width is -1. And then it continues. Or the W is -1, not the width. I don't know what I'm on about. So now, yep, so that's still -1. Now it's 0. Interesting. So it's found a state that's not replaceable. Oh, you know why? Because I don't have the if check for if it's, yeah. So if width is 0, or if W is 0, H is 0, and D is 0, then it just needs to continue. Let's just hot swap that again, because I don't try. Do you know Jon Snow? No, I do not know Jon Snow White. I do not know who that is. Okay, we're trying to place down. Okay, so this is the controller. Now, let's see what happens if I do this. Okay. This is a bit weird. Interesting. It's kind of working, but also like not working. So what happened here? Remove kiln segment. List.recipe.get. Oh, because that's an index out of bounds. That's true. If let's just do this. So if segment index is greater than recipes.size -1, then we're just going to return, and that will get rid of that error that it's going to keep popping up with. But I don't really know what's happening here, to be honest. Doesn't direction have a rotate method? No, direction does not have a rotate method. I very much wish it did, but like you can't. I mean, you can rotate like on an axis, but that doesn't really help. Ideally, you need to be able to rotate a direction by a direction, but you can't do that. But I don't think that's really the problem here, anyways. Right, so this is the controller. So what in goodness gracious is going on here? Okay, first of all, and kind of most... What the hell? Alright, that's that. Why do none of these have a voxel shape? Okay, first of all, let's give them a voxel shape, because without a voxel shape, this is going to be very hard to do. So let's go into here. Voxel shape. And then we need to go into the init, which is a multi-block init, which I can't see. There it is. And we just need to say that, I mean, that should be working. Shapes is set to voxel shape. That's a full cube, and then this one's a full cube, right? Why is that not working then? I'm wondering if it's actually even set. It has. There is a block there. I can't place a block here. But I can place a block here. And that is probably because... Ah, yes, that's actually probably what's going on here. So I kind of haven't done anything with this one, which I do need to do. In fact, I should probably keep this to use has block entity now that I think about it. Whereas that might cause some issues you don't necessarily want. But more so what I was thinking about is the block entity. Right, so this is set to the Rotary Kiln, which is fine. And is this set to the Rotary Kiln controller, right? So, this is set to the controller there. And this is set to the controller there. So it saves the machine positions. It finds the positions. Oh, I need to do the same thing here. So if that is 0, 0, 0, that's probably the issue, I'm guessing. But I mean, we can check. I don't know what's going on here. I don't know why it still thinks it's here. Oh, you know what's probably happened is the controller thinks it still has the segment. Okay. So we'll do that, and then we'll try that. Okay, what is it doing? Oh, look at that. I broke this one and it broke these two. That's pretty cool. It shouldn't have done that, but but here we are. So what is going on here? Let's go into okay, actually let's try one thing real quick. If I do this and then break this, Okay, that should have turned into a controller, but it hasn't. So that's good to know. But yeah, like when I do that, nothing happens. I don't know why. I thought that would work. So on place, I'm gonna get the controller pause, which is in the opposite direction of the facing. It's actually not in the opposite direction of the facing. Are you sure about lines 76 and 80 in the rotary kiln block entity? Block entity 76 and 80. Yeah, that looks fine. I don't see a problem with that. Because if it's facing east, right? So, yeah, if it's facing east, then to the right of you is going to be south. That's fine. And if you're facing west, isn't the right of you? Oh wait, these are the wrong way around. If you're facing east, the right of you will be south, won't it? But I don't think that's the issue here, anyways. I think that's. Is that right? Or am I crazy? I'm trying to think. Because if you're facing north, then the right of you is east. If you're facing east, then the right of you has to be south. If you're facing west, then the right of you is north. Yeah, so that actually was wrong. But I don't think that's causing an issue here. I do need to change that, obviously, in here, though. But that's not the issue, because this is facing north. Why don't you name relative directions instead of visualizing? Because directions aren't. That's not how directions work. Directions don't let you do left, right, forward, backwards. It's only north, south, east, west. So that's how it has to be. I think this is fine. I don't think the problem is here. I think the problem is here. So the thing is, what it's doing is it adds a kiln segment. Because, and I know it does that because it visualizes it for like a split second. You see it does it, right? If I do this, you see it renders it like for a frame or whatever. So what is it doing to cause that though? It must be calling remove kiln segment at some point, and I don't know why it would do that. You know what I can do actually? I can place it down and just see what it's been set to. So it has been set to a rotary kiln. I'm wondering if it's actually... So if the state is not of the new state, then it does that, and it cool. I don't think on state replaces being pulled, but we can try. Not yet though. Let's just do this. I probably need to hot swap even. Oh, I can hot swap. Okay. So if I do this, let's just see. Okay, so that method is not pulled. So it gets the controller pause, and then it gets the controller state. So the controller state is the controller. So that's actually working. It is finding the controller. Is it a rotary kiln? It is. Then it gets the block entity. But the block entity should be the controller. Yes, it is. So what it will do is it will remove the Kiln segment. So we can look in here and we can see this .Kiln segment. So it does have the Kiln segment. Interesting. Very, very interesting. So segment index. Oh, let's actually check. Is this client side or server side? This is server side, but that shouldn't matter. That does matter. That's why it's doing this. That's exactly why. So I need to do and world is not client, and then I also need to do that here. So I need to say if world is client, then we return. Yeah, that's why, because what it's doing is it's running that on the client side as well, which I suspect is not doing what it should be doing. I was wrong. I was wrong. That's not the issue. Okay, let's go back in here then and let's see. So count segments index of pos. So it finds index 0. It removes it. Index is greater than then it returns. Yeah, so that's fine. And then it calls on state replace. That should be fine. That shouldn't be a problem. I think the issue must just be with this, I guess. Let's see what it does then. So if we place this down, we're going to get the controller pos, and then we're going to get the controller state. So let's just look. So that is the controller. So if controller state is of the Rotary Kiln controller, which it is, then we're going to call add Kiln segment here with the block entity. And then we'll call add Kiln segment. Got my eye. Okay. Which will just add that to the Kiln segment. And then it'll do an update. I don't understand. Let's go into the renderer. And let's see what the renderer thinks is happening. Because it's obviously thinking something different is happening than what is happening. So if I go into entity, segments is 0. Okay, I think what's happening is the serialization isn't working then. Right? The saving or syncing in this case of the segment isn't working. So I mean we can test that. So if I remove this, right, and then I set a breakpoint here. Is this fine if I think that's fine. I don't think that's the problem. Yeah, I think that's fine. So if I set that there and then I place that. Okay. So Kiln segments. Right. So what does MBT have? So if we go into the MBT entries, we go Kiln segments. We can see there is one Kiln segment, which is the int array. So -36, 56, 2. So for whatever reason, it's not able to read that. That's why, because it's trying to read it as a compound. Why are you trying to read it as a compound? Ah, dear. It's not a compound. So get int array at index. That, I mean, that should still be fine, I think. So let's breakpoint. Yeah, let's do that and then hot swap that and then break this and then place it back down and then nothing changed. Okay, let's try again. So let's place it down. Okay, so on segments. Oh, wait, this is wrong. Wait, this is not what I meant. I read that completely wrong. That's why. Because it needs to be an int array. Because it's a list of int arrays. That's why. That's why it's being weird. Okay, there we go. There we go. Okay, this one didn't work. Why did this one not? Okay. What is happening? I'm a little confused how this could not work, to be honest. But it's like kind of working. Okay. I reckon it's not going to work when I place this down. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to do that. So we're going to get controller pos, and then we're going to get controller state. Controller state will just be a rotary kiln. So it's gonna, this is gonna be true. And then we're setting the block at the controller pos, which is the one that's offsetted, to be its current state with an index +1? Wait, that doesn't make sense. What? No, this isn't right. This isn't right. This needs to be at the pos, right? It needs to set the block at the current position to be a segment index +1, right? And then controller pos to offset in the facing. Now the facing I think is also wrong, so if I look at the facing here, oh, no, that might be right actually. Yeah, that's fine actually. I think what was wrong, I think it has to be there. I believe by hot swap that. Let's just destroy these, which might cause some errors, but oh yeah, that's not happy with that. Okay. Did it cause any errors though, or not? It actually didn't cause any errors, but didn't actually remove them. That's probably fixable. I can probably fix that. Right, so we'll place down the controller. Okay. Right. Then we'll place down this. So this is segment index 1. This is segment index 2. Segment index 3. 4. 5. 6. 7. 8. 9. 10. 11. 12. 13. 14. 15. 16. Oh, that was inevitable, wasn't it? So, what's it exactly done? So try to get it at the index. Let's see why it's done. So if I, God, if I come to the renderer. Right, because there actually needs to be 15 segments because it's not taking into account the controller segment. So, yeah, in here where I've got 16, this needs to be less than 16. And then also in the block itself, this needs to be... Ooh, see, this does, like... That's fine, actually. Wait. Yeah, so this is 1 to 16, that's correct. That would be fine. This is also fine, I think. The issue is this shouldn't be able to have more than 16. So it's actually a problem with this here, right? So I need to say if controller say get index is greater than or equal to 16, it needs to set this to be a controller, really. So it needs to do world.set block state at pos to be block init dot Rotary Kiln controller, basically. So that should be fine, and that should stop that from causing any problems. But for the most part, it seems to be working, right? I don't know why the voxel shapes aren't working, to be honest. I'm a little bit confused with that as for why that's... but apart from that, everything seems to be fine. And the next thing to test is going to be to actually check if the block entity works, right? We don't actually have any recipes right now. That's not a problem. We can create one, you know, very easily. Ugh. Right, so that's actually gonna that's gonna kind of error forever, because now it's placed one with a seg index of 17. Okay, what we could do is just cap this, right? So if I do a math.clamp or a math.max between that and 16, that should work. No, not max. Not max, min. Because otherwise that will not change a single thing. Okay, there we go. Yeah, so it'll be the minimum between that and 60. Meaning it can't go past 60. Okay. Let's try. I didn't think it was still error. That's interesting. Where is this happening then? It maybe isn't happening where I thought it was happening. So it's looking for seg 16, but that shouldn't be possible. Oh, because I'm doing index +1. I see. Oh, I see. Oh, that's also wrong then, because there isn't 16 segments. There's 15 segments, right? So, in actuality, this does need to be 15. This needs to be 15, right? This needs to be 15. And then this needs to be 15. Yeah, because there is 15 segments. That should work. And we'll see what this does then. Come on, game. Thank you. If there are segments 1 to 16, then there are 16 segments. No, there are segments 0 through 15. So there are 16 segments, but yeah. It doesn't like that when I try and do that, but that's fine. That's not like that's not a problem really. And then yeah, basically just keep building these. It won't let me else do that, but that's fine. And removing doesn't work, but that shouldn't be too hard to fix. And look, we can even go inside of it because obviously there's no voxel shit, but that's pretty cool, right? And obviously if I do this, I'm actually surprised. Yeah, so if I look down, it doesn't show, but that's fine. Anyways, that's not a problem. So can we get the removal to work? And also let's just check directions if that's fine or not. Oops, don't do that. Seems to be fine, to be honest. These are all facing, this is west. Yeah, that's fine. I mean, the other ones are probably going to be fine. I don't know why they wouldn't be. Okay. So. Right. Let's get removal working then, because I don't know why that's not working. So let's come into here, and I'm actually going to remove this because what I forgot about is that I already have code for this. So let's delete this. And what we're going to do is we're going to go into the block entity in here. And I already have code for that. So I have it in break multi-block here. So what it will do is it will get the facing. And then it'll get the offset pos in that direction. Okay, I see what this does. It doesn't quite do what I want though. So I actually do still need this. But what this should do is if I break a block that's like in the middle, it should create a controller. So if I do that, interesting. So all it's actually doing, interesting. Like if I do that, yeah, that's weird. I'm surprised it hasn't updated or anything. Okay. So this should call set created by replacement. So if the world is null or the world is client, we're going to get the facing. So we're going to get this segment index. So we'll start at 1. One that's less than or equal to 15. We're going to get the offset. What does this do? We're going to get the offset, and then we're going to get the state. If it's a rotary kiln, then we're going to set it to be segment index. Oh, right. I see. I see. So why is that called here? Right, because this creates a controller. Right, so this should create a controller, but it doesn't create a controller. The while loop does the same thing 15 times. Yes, it does. So it should be a for loop, which is probably what you're going to say. But yes, it does. Where is it? Here. Yeah, it should probably be a for loop. Less than or equal to 15. That. But obviously that won't actually fix it. Okay, so what is happening? This says it to be a controller. Let's set created by replacement. I suspect this if statement doesn't work. There are 2 plus pluses. There are. You are correct. Yeah, segment and that's fine. Yeah. I suspect that this if statement isn't happening. So what it might be worth doing is just doing this on the first tick. Would probably be the best way to achieve this. Is a 1025 line class bad? I wouldn't say it's bad, but if it's that long, then it probably could be split up into some number of subclasses. Generally. Not always, right? Like, I can't really split this class up at all, and this is almost 500 lines, but this is like basically impossible to split up. I mean, I could remove this and put it in a different class, like a separate class, but there's no point doing that. And I think that would just be weird as well, because it's very specific to this. Like I couldn't split this up, but sometimes you should, yeah. It kind of just depends, really. Hello Archie, welcome to the stream. Let's have a first tick thing. So all I need to do is say if this dot see, this already has ticks, doesn't it? I believe the superclass has ticks. It does. Perfect. Okay. So I think this is actually also incremented too. I'm correct. Ah, the superclass does not have ticks. Where the hell is ticks coming from then? What? Where is ticks? I'm sorry. What? IntelliJ? Where is it getting ticks from? Is it just like not? Like, is it just? We just have no syntax highlighting apparently, or no error stuff. Right. What is a rotary kiln? So it's basically a big, long furnace, pretty much. And it works by rotating. That's it. That's basically what it is in simple terms. Yeah, I mean, it kind of like, yeah, that's pretty much what it does. There isn't much more to say about it. Okay, I don't know how this is working or why it's not complaining, but I'm not going to complain. So if ticks is equals 0, I'm just going to run that method. And I'm just going to rename the method. So I'm going to rename to tech look. What? See, I can't really call it like look for something because it does actually like make state changes and stuff. I think I actually do need to do this to do as well. So I should probably Copilot hopefully will know. Nope, it does not. It does. Okay, has IntelliJ broken or something? Because it's not. It's not cooperating with me. And that makes me very upset. Right, I need to rename the method. Oh my god, I'm getting distracted. And she came down here to rename the method, and I ended up not renaming the method. Yeah, IntelliJ is actually dying. I don't know why or what has caused it, but okay, let's stop the game. Maybe that's nope. It's actually just dying, I guess. I'll invalidate and restart. That might be what we need. Are we loaded yet? No, we're not. Just give it a minute. Come on. I didn't really need it to wipe all the indexes, I don't think. I think I probably could have just closed it and reopened it, but oh well. So I'm going to rename this method to be called... I don't know. Handle... segment... searching. I don't know. I know what it means. Music's a little bit too loud. So handle segment searching. So then what I can do is just put that in here. And yeah, as I thought, X does not exist. So private int x is equals, and then I can just do if x plus plus is equal to 0, handle segment searching. Okay, perfect. So that will just do that, and then all I need to do is remove this if check. Not all of that. Don't do all of that. I just want to do that. There we go. That's a mighty point, actually. When I do a thing in here or something, somewhere I'm setting a block state. Does anyone remember where I did that? I set a block state to be the controller, I believe, and that's not gonna work because it needs to take the direction. Oh, maybe it is actually this, and I already... No, I don't think it is this. It was somewhere else. Was it in here? Or am I just imagining? I could just be imagining it, actually. Oh no, right here. It's literally right here. I need to do with properties.horizontal facing, controller state.get horizontal facing. Okay, perfect. There's a very long line of code, but that's fine. That will set the controller. Now, removal still doesn't work, right? So let's see what happens when it's removed. So, okay, if it's not the same block, and we're server side, we're gonna get the controller position, and then we'll get the state. If the state is the controller, then that's going to be the block entity. Else, if it's this, right? So if it's not the controller, it's just a segment, then we're going to get the actual controller pos by taking that offsetted position, offsetting it in the direction. Is that right? Is that the right direction to offset it in? Yes, I think so. And then offsetting it by that index. Is that correct? Is that the right? That should be fine. And then we get the block entity. And then if the block entity is a controller, then we're going to call remove kiln segment. So that will grab the index of that segment from here. If it exists, then we're going to remove the segment from the kiln segment. And then it just does this. Alright. When I do this, yeah, I do kiln segments.clear. Okay. That should be fine. Let's try it again and we'll debug it if it doesn't work. Because it should work. I'm not sure why it wouldn't work. Ooh. So we'll have a look. Let me close Paint, and I'm going to save it. Actually, am I going to save it? Because I actually don't really care. Yeah, I'll save it. And I can just close it because I don't want to have that open if I don't need it. So we'll go into here. Okay, we're going to try just breaking it first, and then if it doesn't work, then we'll break point and then break the next one. So yeah, so that didn't work. So let's set a breakpoint in here. And we'll put it right there. That's fine. Okay. So we get the controller pos. And then we're going to get the state. So what is the state? So the state is a rotary kiln with a segment index of 16. So is it a controller? No. Is it this? Yes. So then it should get the actual controller pos, which should offset it by 13 in south direction. And then it should set the block entity. And the block entity is the controller. So then it will try and remove the segment. Oh? So Kiln segments is interesting. So it actually has more than it should have. Does it have duplicates? Or... I think... Oh, it has them... Wait, no, it doesn't. But it had them at different Y levels. It doesn't. They are just... Yeah, so it just has them at duplicate Z. Why? I actually don't know why. Interesting. Where are we right now? We're here. Okay, so it should remove 13. And now there's 29. I'm a little bit confused, to be honest. Hello. I don't know how to say Cyrillic stuff. But hello, 158. I'm gonna call you 158. Welcome to the stream. Your guides very helping create my mod. Thank you. You're welcome. I'm glad they can help. That is their intention. So if that's what they're doing, then that is a job well done, if I don't say so myself. So let's just look at everywhere where this is accessed, and then we'll look at everywhere where it's modified. So we obviously have MBT here, so that this doesn't access those. That just loops over them. That's fine. So reading should clear them here. It will loop over, and then it will add them. That should be fine. That just gets the size. So handle segment searching. Maybe this is wrong. But I don't think it should be, since this will only run 15 times. That's should be fine. Yeah, that should be fine. Okay, so we'll come down. Okay, so add Kiln segment. I'm a little bit suspicious of that method. And you know, actually, this doesn't cause an update. So this should actually just call add Kiln segment of offset pos. Now, where is this called? So it's called in here. Add Kiln segment, which is called where? So it's called here and here. So when it's placed, it will add the actual controller pos. But that's only when it's placed. Okay, look, let me go back into the block entity. Maybe there's somewhere else that it does that or something. Nope. When I write them, in, I'm lost. In, oh my god, I'm so lost. In here, in segments to add, that should be fine. It's possible that it could just be like invalid at this point. Like if I break this one, okay, that actually, I kind of expected that to break them all, but it hasn't done. Oh, I can't access the game. Oh, there you go, now it's broken. Okay, I actually was hoping it wouldn't do that, but it's fine. So Rotary Kiln, wait, let's grab the controller again. Like this. Okay. I'm gonna place it in the exact same way because I know this way works. So do that. Okay, and then let's just try and break this one. Nothing happened. Okay. Interesting. Let's, in that case, into, you know what it probably is? It probably is this, I suspect. Like add kiln segment should really actually just check if it contains it, then it should just return. I think that would be helpful to do, because it could just be running it multiple times. No. No. Okay, you know what? Let's go step by step. So let's come into here, right? And I'm going to place this down. So super on placed, I don't think will do anything. What is the world? Oh, we're client side, okay. So we'll go back into here. Multi-block, so it gets the block entity and it will call build multi-block. Let me just check what build multi-block does. Because it's possible build multi-block is like doing something it shouldn't be doing. I don't think it does, but it's worth checking. Oh my god, it's going to do this for every single position. Are you kidding me? Okay. Let's impact it. Okay. So that will do that. Right. Then we get the controller pos. Right. Then it gets the controller state. So what is the state? The state is the controller as it should be. So it's going to come into here. Right. We're going to get the block entity. Let's just look straight in the block entity. So it currently has 0 segment, right? So let's step into this again. Okay, and then we're just going to do kiln segments.add pos. Okay. No problem. That shouldn't be a problem. I'm going to just quickly breakpoint this and see if somewhere else this is being called or something. Like I'm struggling to put 2 and 2 together of why this is not working. Let's breakpoint this and try and break it. Okay, so if state is not of the new state, blah 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 blah, you'll get the pos. It'll get the controller state, so the controller state is the controller as expected. So it'll do that, it'll get the block entity, and then it'll try and remove kiln segment. So we come into here, and this.kiln segments, so we have pos, which is negative 51, 56, negative 10. So that does exist. It'll find that, and then it will remove it. Check that this is server side as well. It is. And then it will return. Let's go into here. I'm a little bit suspicious of this, actually. More specifically, this method right here. Because this will call break multi-block. And if I step into here, because you see what it does do here, it does set a controller. I don't know if it's actually doing that though, so it's not. Okay. Okay. So if I press play, interesting. So it hasn't actually updated it. And is that because of this? That's probably just because of this method right here. So I should really do an update there. And theoretically I would obviously update here as well, but it just sets a flag, so there's no point doing that. I think that's probably then what's happening. Because if I place it back down, let's just get rid of all these breakpoints and then break it again. In theory, there you go. So now that actually updates all of these. Okay, on the last one, it should set it to be a controller. I don't know why it's not doing that. But I'm also not really too fussed about that, because what I do need to do is I need to create an item that just combines both of these, rather than have these two items. So I'm actually not too fussed about figuring that out right now. It'll be easy to do anyways when we get to it, so I'm not too worried about that. Okay, so I'm just going to I think to test something real quick, and I want to test these segments. So this is actually going to be a big problem. Okay. It might be fine. So what I can do is model. I want to get the rotating segment at this index. Index +1. Is it index +1 though? So rotates 15 is part of seg 15. Okay, yes, it is. That's fine then. So we make that a variable, which will be the rotating segment. Now the actual amount of rotation is gonna use for now just the world. So I'm gonna do world dot time percentage 360. Sure, we'll try that. I don't know what that's gonna do, but we'll try that. Okay. And then I'm just gonna do make sure I don't need to do that. Or I could do that, but I'm not gonna do that. I'm just gonna do rotating segment dot I'm just trying to think which one. Is it, so it's not your, it's not, I think it's roll. I think it's roll, and that'll be equal to rotation, and then all I need to do is just set that back to 0. Well, 0 is actually not ideal, but it'll be fine. It won't actually cause a problem, even though it's like not ideal. And that crashed. Not vine part rotate seg 1. Interesting. Why not? Rotate. Seg2. Oh, because Seg2 doesn't rotate, actually. Right, so Seg2 doesn't rotate, so rotations actually start from Seg1. So, you know what I could do? Kind of cringe, but I could actually do this. I could set index to be -1. And then that means that I actually don't have to... No, I still do need a +1, don't I? Yeah, because size would be 0. So unless I did size +1, which actually wouldn't be that bad. I could do like that, and then I could actually get rid of these +1s in here. And I could get rid of this line right here. But yeah, anyways. So what is the problem? The problem is because the rotating segment doesn't exist for 0 and 1. So what I really need to say then is if index... This is not ideal. If index is equal 0 or index is equal 1... Wait, is that right? Because before we were looking for index 2, which would have actually been segment 3, no? Wait, index 2... Oh, index 2 is segment... I'm so confused. What? It should only be 0 and 1 that don't rotate. So that's what I'm going to stick with. So if we're 0, and we also need to do... Oh. Right. That's yucky. Okay. Okay. I hate that. I hate that so much. But it's just a map lookup, so I'm not too worried about like performance. It's just kind of yucky code. But sure, we'll stick with it. I don't know why that wouldn't work. Oh, wait. So this starts the rotates at seg frame? No, it doesn't. Rotate seg 2. It's literally right there. There's just no rotate seg 1. Right, okay. Yeah, I see. Yeah, I see what happened. Okay. I'm just being an idiot. Not find part rotate seg 0? Why is it looking for that? What? Oh, these are the wrong way around. This needs to be if index is greater than... I'll do greater than or equal to 2 just because that's easier to read than greater than 1. Okay. There you go. Look at that. Obviously rotating way too fast. So if I times that by like 0.1. Look at that. That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool if you ask me. I mean, it's kind of weird, like having like this space here, but I mean, I don't know how else you would do that. I guess in real life it would be, this would just be like an actual circle, right? But it's obviously, this is very trippy. But anyways, yeah, I guess, I mean, that's fine, I think. And look, even this one's rotating, so that's fine. I mean, they should also be rotating at different speeds. No, I guess that they wouldn't be rotating it. But yeah, sure, okay. So, I actually can't keep it like this because I'm gonna have to do a lot more logic than just um what I could do is I could have a render segment and then I could have a render rotating segment or something. Or actually, you know what I could do? I could not do this. I could just do matrices.push. Matrices dot see, yeah, this is fine, I think. Multiply by rotation axis. I think it's going to be Z, I believe. And then that'll be rotation degrees, I think. Not sure if that's rotation degrees or if that's but that only needs to be here. Right, and then oh, I'm gonna sneeze. Oh, I'm gonna try the thing Basti said. I'm gonna pinch my index finger. I think it's actually worked. That's so weird. Okay. That's the goofiest thing ever. Okay. Anyways, if I do that, oh, right, because yeah, because that's rendering the entire segment. It also obviously shouldn't be rotation degrees then, should it? Yeah, not quite. Not quite what we want. Okay, yeah, so that's why I can't do it like that, because it just doesn't work. Okay, let me just move this over here as well, because you don't need to see that twice. Okay, so the best way to do this then, I'm thinking maybe I just render them separately at the top, like kind of what I had before. So I start this at like index 1 and don't do a +1. No, I can do a +1. That's fine. So it'll be 2. Meaning that I don't need these. Or this. Or this. Right, so all I have to do is get the segment, do the roll, render the segment, reset the roll. Right? I can do that, but then obviously you see that the 2 end pieces have gone. So we also need to go ahead and render those 2. Now, that should be fairly easy. So obviously for the first one, we can just render segment 0. That's fine. So that will render this one. And then we are going to have a bit of a yucky if statement here. But if it's... Well, if it's empty, then we return, yes. But if it's not, then we just want to render the other one. So we want to do model.render segment at index 1. And that should work. Because this won't render that segment, because this only renders index 2 to 16. So yeah, that's fine. I mean, this is a bit weird. I should probably remove this little part here. But oh well, it's fine. Okay, so that's pretty much what we wanted then. So now kind of all that needs to be done is this needs to depend on whether it's processing, first of all. That's kind of the most important. Actually, whilst we're at it, I just want to see... Okay, so there is an input here. It's actually added on all sides, and that's not also where I wanted it. So I actually want it on this block here, but that's fine. We can deal with that for now. It's not ideal, of course, but it'll work for now. So I can't place a block there. So how am I actually going to place a block into this block then? Or place a hopper into this block? That's not going to be possible, is it? You know what I could do? There is a solution actually, and that is to use the debug thing. Does anyone know how you get that? The debug stick thing. Does anyone know where that's at? I'm pretty sure there's a way to get that, right? I thought it was a thing you could get in the creative menu, but I guess not. Is it just like its own item? It is its own item. Well, there you go then. So I think I can just... I don't actually know how this works, to be honest. But we're going to figure it out. So, enabled to false? No, don't do that. So, do I need to do I press a thing? Or like... Hello, Wide. Welcome back. I am well. Yes. I am well. Okay, does anyone know how the debug stick works? I don't know how to wait. Oh, there you go. You left click it. Okay. So if I change down to be north. Okay, there you go. That shows how much I play vanilla, right? I have no idea how a debug stick works, but oh well. Okay, so let's... How are we gonna do this? This is gonna be so complicated. what I'm gonna have to, yeah, this is fine actually. This isn't actually going to be that complicated. All I need to do is create a getter method. So I need to do get input thing. What does it get? This get recipe. Okay. And then in here, I will render the segment, and then I will push, and then I need to translate to this specific segment. So, okay. What is segment 2 again? Segment 2 is this one, right? So segment 2 is actually different, like functionally very different. Okay. Well, also I'm curious if I do this, because tick delta usually causes problems, right? Oh, because I'm pushing and then not popping. Oops. Oopsie doops. Okay. Well, I'm not even going to try that then. There's no point. I need to translate to the specific segment. So how can I do that? I guess by getting the direction. So let's do direction facing is equal that. And then I should be able to get that as a vector, right? So if I do facing, what's the difference? I have no idea what the difference between these are. I'm guessing I want this one. Got vec3 I equal vector. Yeah, this is the one I want, I think. So let's get that as a bar, facing vector. And basically I'm going to use that in here. So I'm going to translate facing vector, get x times index, and then get z times index. So that should basically translate it by the number of blocks, which should be fine. I don't need to do that. That's fine. Instead, what I need to do is I need to just render the item that's there. So I'm going to do entity get recipes dot you want to play the finals right now? Why? You can see that I'm streaming. No, I do not want to play the finals right now. If index -2 is less than recipes.size. Sure, this is fine, I guess. Right, that pops the matrix, which is not matrix C, which is not what I want. I want to render the item first. So, oh, I see. So I need to do this. Right, see. This honestly should actually just go in here. I don't see a reason not to do that. And then we do want to scale it down, yes. However, yeah, that should be fine. And then we need to do this.context dot get item renderer dot render item. We're gonna render recipe dot input stack. Then we're gonna render then we're gonna give it the model transformation mode, which is gonna be none. Then we're gonna give it the vertex consumers. Then we're going to give it, what does it want next? Render item. Oh, it doesn't want that. It wants the hand, and then the matrices, and then the vertex. Okay, cool. False, matrices, vertex consumers, and then I'm guessing it's light, overlay, and then it probably wants the world, so entity.world, and then I think it's the seed. No, I'm wrong. So which one do I want? I don't even know. Do I want this one? No, I don't want that one. Don't want this one. No, I don't want that one. Do I want this one? No, I don't want that one. I don't want any of these. Am I doing something wrong? So this is render baked item model. And then this is quads. Let's make it reader. Okay, this is the one I wanted. So it's light overlay, then matrices. Okay, so yeah, we get rid of that. There we go. Light overlay, matrices, vertex consumers. Then it wants the world, then it wants the seed. So the seed is an inch, not a long. Okay, there we go. Okay, let's try and run this, and we'll see if we can get it to do anything, I guess. We are going to need to make a recipe for it to actually do anything. So let's do that. Let's come into data gen, come into recipe provider, and yeah, we're just gonna call offer Rotary Kiln recipe. Now I don't think I actually have the output of this yet, nor do I actually even remember what the output is, to be honest. I'm gonna try and find where it is. So I can't find the Rotary Kiln. Come on, I can't find it. Ah, so alumina hydrate to alumina, of course. So yeah, so we don't actually have alumina yet. So we should also register that then. So we're gonna go not alumina hydrate. What am I on about? Wait, it does say it's alumina hydrate. I thought this outputted aluminum hydroxide. Am I wrong? Did I get that wrong? Wait, I'm a little bit confused now. They process aluminium, however you want to say it. AlOH3. That is aluminum hydro. I was right. So where on earth does alumina hydrate? Or is that something different? Do a little bit of Googling. Oh, so alumina hydrate is the seed. So it's actually not the same. I see. I got them a little bit confused then. There you go. Okay, so then we'll do item alumina is alumina. Okay. Required temperature. I don't know that 1000 is correct. I assume probably not. I assume it's much hotter than that. Like much hotter. It's actually not that much hotter. Apparently it's about 1200. Good to know. Okay, so let's try and run that. I forgot to run data gen though, so I should run data gen. And hopefully that will work. And then once we get this working, I will probably end the stream there. Because I didn't want to stream for too long tonight anyways. Oh. Oh? What the? I think I broke it by running data gen whilst I was trying to run the client. I think that that killed it. A note to self, do not try and do that. Either that or my entire project is just fucked over, but no, it's I don't know why I ran the data. Oh yeah, I ran it for this. Okay, I thought, yeah, okay. I'm getting confused. It's fine. All is good. All is chill and good. So, do we think this is going to work, chat? Do we think that it's going to render the item? And do we think it's going to process them? And it's not going to work, is it? I can just already imagine there's so many things that will go wrong. You think it will render it wide? I think, to be honest, I'm not confident that it will even render it. Because it's only going to be able to render it if it can process it, because it has to be at least like here for it to be able to render it. It's not going to render anything like sooner than. So I think it's not going to work. But we will see. So let's put in aluminum hydroxide. Let's just put one in for now. Okay, that's a great start. So the hopper doesn't work. Okay. Great start. Great, wonderful start. Okay. Why not? That's going to be step one of figuring this out. Why does the hopper not work? Nothing will break 'cause it's not working. Yeah. Yeah. There's a thing there though. I don't know why that wouldn't work. I'm actually a little bit confused. Okay. Okay. Let's look at... We're gonna have to, I think, go into the hopper code. So you guys might want to cover your eyes, because this is going to be some of the worst code you've ever seen. So... Pretty so ugly. Okay, it's fine, it's fine. Jesus Christ. It's probably here, right? Okay, so it gets the output inventory. Let's see what this does. Get inventory at. Get block inventory at. So block is an inventory provider. Doesn't does fabric not do a thing? Fabric? I thought the fabric API handled this. I assumed it would. Am I crazy to think that? Let me have a look at the wiki. Let's have a look at the wiki. So I'll just go there and then we'll go back down. So this is blocks and blocks blocks and block entities, creating a container. No, I don't think it's this one, is it? Add a block entity. Storing items in a block as an inventory. Standard way to store items is to make it an inventory. This allows for hoppers or other mods. You have to do that? Have I been doing it wrong this entire time? Really? No way. I've been doing it wrong the entire time. Wow. Okay. I've been doing inventories wrong the entire time. I do not remember it saying this when I originally read it. But okay. So apparently... Okay, I thought Fabric would have handled this, bro. This is crazy. So... Okay. Gonna cause so many problems. Like... My god. Like, this is actually gonna be a big problem. Because this is gonna involve rewriting so friggin' much. Like, oh my god. I'm just trying to see if maybe I can get away with cheating a little bit. Because, my god, this is actually going to break so much. Like, I actually kind of can't even do this. Because, oh good lord, this is going to break so many things. Okay, like every single one of these block entities is going to have to be rewritten. Almost. I mean, not quite. Like, not completely rewritten. Wait a damn minute. Before we do this, I thought I had a thing for this, actually. I thought my wrapped inventory storage, I thought the combined storage did this. Does it not? No, apparently not. Okay. So what the hell does simple inventory do? Generic implementation of inventory. Oh. Okay. Oh. All of my inventory stuff is not gonna work. It's not gonna work. Oh. Okay. Okay. I'm gonna have to do a stream where I literally rewrite everything. So I hope you guys are ready for that. Because I have to do that. Like, I don't have a choice. If I want stuff to work with hoppers, I'm gonna have to do that. It's gonna be okay for most of the block entities, but the issue is gonna arise when it comes to multi-block. In fact, I think it's gonna be impossible. Like, I don't see a way in which you could do that because they don't have a block entity. Oh no, the ports do have a block entity actually. Yeah, the ports do have a block entity. So actually that will still kind of work. It's just going to be a pain in the butt. Because the port is going to have an inventory whether or not it has an inventory. Which is the stupidest thing on the planet. Okay. I mean, the alternative, and it's a very hacky alternative, is that I just mix into the hopper block entity and I just make it use the Fabric API. Which I thought Fabric would have done. Like, what the fuck? Why have they not done that? Right? Like, you would think that, you know, Fabric has built this whole transfer API and they're not even, they haven't even implemented it into vanilla? Like, what? And the worst part is I have to implement sided inventory because it exposes different slots for different sides. But I can't even... It's not even going to be... It's literally just the same thing. Oh my god. You know what I can probably do? Actually, I can make this a little bit easier on myself. A little bit easier. Like a very little bit easier. I could make a delegating sided inventory. Right? And I can basically make it just delegate to one of my inventories. I think if I extend sided inventory, now what methods do I need to implement? So I need to implement, I think, a lot of methods. For persistent storage, and entities or block entities use vehicle inventory or lockable container block entity. What? But that requires... No, that's so bad. Okay, this is... This is where I give a point to Forge. This is where I say Forge good, Fabric bad. Because this is terrible. Making you use the vanilla API for inventories is the worst thing that they could have ever come up with. You should never have to do this. Like, this is disgusting. This is actually not nice. I have to basically implement all of these methods. And these ones. I mean, the best way I can do this is I can make, it's like, I'm basically gonna have to have like a get inventory direction side, right? And then I'm gonna have to basically implement all the rest. I'm gonna have to do override methods, and I'm gonna have to do these ones. Can I like just generate the ones I need, or like no? Okay, why has it done that? I obviously want these to be default methods. Like, why would I? Okay, whatever. So get inventory side, get available slots. What the fuck does that even mean? Cancel the available slot positions that are reachable from a given side. Oh my god. Well, I mean, that's just going to be a size, but into an array. Oh, really? Okay. So I think I can probably use an int stream to do that. Int stream of size, and then map each index to be index. Is that like a thing I can do? Or like, what does this, so what does this do? To be honest, I don't know how like if I do an int stream, it returns a sequential int stream containing a single element. Yeah, that's not what I want. I want it like a range. Yes, I want a range. I want a range of 0 to size, and then turn that into an array. Okay. Okay, can insert. We're gonna say get inventory dir, and we're gonna say, you see the can I use an inventory storage maybe? Get slot count, and then can I maybe there's implementations of this, right? Wait, where is can insert? Doesn't that exist somewhere? That might be on the... I thought it was on here. But it could be it could be in one of my inventory storages, which is like maybe syncing. Yeah, so then I have can insert, but like I don't know what's the best to use. I don't know if it's better to use the inventory storage or not. I guess what I will do is I will just try transaction is equal transaction to open outer, and then basically just like try and do this. So like if I make the inventory like that, and then I try and do inventory dot insert, but that doesn't work for a specific slot. So like you can't do that. I think it's more about whether it can insert into the direction, not the specific slot. I don't think the specific slot is really relevant in this case, because that's not how I'm doing things. So I really just need to know, actually, if it supports insertion. And this is just going to be supports extraction. This is just going to be the slot count, which is makes it hide. You know what it might be worth doing, actually, is getting a just the wrapped inventory storage, right? Because then actually I can do basically whatever I want. So I can now do get wrapped inventory dot get storage side. I can do the same thing there, do the same thing there. There isn't a supports extraction, no, but that would be nice to have. Maybe I'll consider that. No, so what I can do for the slot count is I can do get stacks dot size. Let me just check that get stacks, does that like no, so that will actually get me the size, yeah. Is empty is I don't suppose I once again have a, unfortunately not. But I should be able to return. What's the best way to do this? Probably just to say get storages dot format. Inventory storage empty. But what is empty? Oh, that just returns like an empty. Okay. In that case, I can do the inventories then, and then I can just say simple inventory is empty. Okay. Now, getting stack in a slot. I don't know how the fuck that's gonna work. Because like slots just don't work like that in my inventories. I mean, I guess just that, like, God. Okay. Stack is empty, return item stack dot empty, else stack dot split if stack is empty. Maybe Copilot might be cooking, I guess. Oh, actually, Copilot, question. What does get stacks do? Inventory that gets stacked. That might work, but I hate it. What's the IntelliJ theme you're using? I think I'm using IU Dark, but I'm not sure because I did change it recently. I'm using IU Dark. I mean, this might work. I don't freaking know, man. That stack. That's not gonna work because this returns a new list every single time. See, this is so dumb because slots just don't work like this. It's not how slots work, because this needs to be per side. I guess the way this works, or the way that they intend for this to work, is that like it basically works how it would in a screen, like or like in a screen handler. But like, what if you didn't have a screen handler? Or what if you had a slot that wasn't in the screen handler? I don't know, man. The combined storage doesn't really help me, does it? No, I was kind of hoping maybe it would help me. Okay, what it's probably worth doing is taking all of the inventories, right? So what do we get wrapped inventory .var, right, which will get me the wrapped inventory. Then I will get the actual inventory that slot is part of, right? So if I do a simple inventory is equal null, and then basically for each inventory, we'll do like a int slot total. Okay, and then we'll say slot total is equal inventory.size. If slot is less than slot total, yeah, sure. I mean, that might work, I guess. And then if stack.getCount is greater than getMaxCount, then the stack.setCount. Sure. That's fine. Default. So remove stack. What does that do in the exam? Does inventories.split stack? What does this do? So it gets get stack and slot. Yeah, this isn't gonna this is actually kind of gonna work for getting the stack. So that's fine. Remove stack. So if the stack is empty, it returns empty. Else it sets the stack in that slot. Oh, so that just calls set stack. What does Oh, I see. Okay, I also need to override clear, apparently. Hello, Alex. Welcome to the stream. Totally not dying here, but it's fine. No problem at all. Right, so that's all of these. Let's just go through these and check that there isn't any in here that I've missed. Yeah, mark dirty. I am gonna have to do mark dirty. I don't know how the fuck I'm gonna do mark dirty. I have to do can player use? Really? Okay, well I can just call the method, right? I can just override can player use, and I can just call can player inventory.can player use. That takes in the block entity. No. Oh. Okay. There's a solution. We're gonna do this. And then we can do can player use get block entity player. And just return that. And then we can actually do the same thing for mark dirty too. So mark dirty, we can actually do... Is that a thing? Oh. Fantastic. Okay, sure, we can do that for mark dirty then. I was gonna call mark dirty on the block entity, but I guess we don't need to do that if we can just call it on the inventories themselves. So that's great. Okay. Hopefully this won't be too bad. I'm really hoping it won't be too bad. So... Okay. So what we'll do is we'll go on to the multi-block IO. Okay. And we will implement that class, which I hate. I hate this. So I'm going to complain about this for a very long time. I hope you guys realize this. I'm going to complain about this for a very long time because this is just... Ugh. Oh, you know, I can't even do that. No. There's so much more hours, I can't even do that. I can't get the wrapped inventory storage because the multi-block IO doesn't use a wrapped inventory storage. It just uses... Well, what does it use? It uses... I guess inventory storages? But the worst part about that is that I can't use an inventory. This is impossible. This might actually be impossible. I don't know. Oh god. I actually, like, I need this, do I not? If I go to super implementation real quick. Super method, I mean. So, this could just use an inventory storage if necessary. So could this, so could this. This could not. Well, it could. It could. In theory. I guess they all could, in theory. This wouldn't really work. It wouldn't really work, though. And that kind of needs to work. And this would be... impossible as well, because the slot indices would just be wrong. See, I don't think this is even a me problem at this point. I think this is genuinely just like Fabric doing weird shit. Like, why would you... Okay. I'm gonna stop complaining and we're gonna figure this out. How the fuck are we gonna figure this out? Okay. I have a solution. I hate it, but I have one. Oh, I hate it so much. So, my solution is that I reconstruct a wrapped inventory storage every single time the ports change, because that, I mean, that's the only way I could get access to a wrapped inventory storage. But the problem, in fact, no, that's still not good. That's still not gonna work. The problem is the indices aren't gonna match up with the direction. Like, say for example, right? Let's say for example, I had a storage where I added the south inventory before I added the north inventory. That means it's just not gonna work. like it would be impossible, because it's gonna start with the indices at south, or no, it's gonna start with the north one, even though the first inventory is the south one. So this is actually becoming impossible. Hello Vic7, welcome to the stream. Yeah, I don't know how I'm gonna do this. We might have hit a dead end. What I may have to do... I'm trying to think. Even if, right? Even if I implemented guided inventory, right? Which, by the way, would require me to implement all of these methods, right? But if we excuse that for a second, even if I implemented this, I still wouldn't be able to make it work, because there's no way for me to implement get stack of a specific slot, because I don't know what slot is the first slot, because this has multiple sides. Like, really, this method is wrong. This method needs to take in a direction. It needs to be like a direction side int slot. But it's not, and that's impossible. I'm genuinely thinking I might just mix it into the hopper. Like, this is tragic. The fact that Fabric has not made it so that the hopper just uses their own sided inventory API is insane. Like, that is... I don't know if that's an oversight, or if that is just, like, the dumbest decision to have ever been made. I'm fuming about this, and I am gonna rant in the Fabric server about it afterwards. Because I there's nothing I can do realistically. So the thing that I'm looking at the wiki, right? Right, and you want to see how crazy this is? So this entire thing relies on you having a defaulted list of item stack. Just a singular list. Right? Like, you just have to have a list of item stacks. So even though I have storages on different sides that have completely different things in them, according to this, they have to be part of the same list of items. It has to be a single list. Insane. So there's two solutions, right? Well, there's three solutions, but I don't like the third one. So solution number one is mixing into hoppers. Just make it so that hoppers use the fabric transfer API, right? Solution number two, complain in the fabric Discord enough that they actually fix their API and make it so that hoppers do it for me. Option three is figure out a way to make this work, which will probably involve rewriting the entirety of Industria. And when I say the entirety, I mean everything. Like literally everything will need rewriting. That's how bad it is. Because to make it use a list of items instead of multiple inventories, like, it's impossible with what I have. So those are my three solutions. And I think I'm gonna go and think about it for a while, and possibly debate my life choices, because this is a tragic decision on Fabric's part, and honestly the one thing that now makes me not want to be using Fabric right now, because this is so bad. But I'm gonna end the stream here, because I have actually been going for longer than I intended to anyways. Like actually way long. I only intended to do 2 hours today, but here we are. But yeah, I'm gonna try and, I guess, figure this out, and I will see you all in the next stream or whatever. So yeah, bye bye everyone.